Here's what's coming next on planet Earth. I want to talk to you about taking control of your destiny. Hi, I'm Saratoga Ocean, and I work together with an interdimensional, interuniversal, and extraterrestrial force known as Telstar, along with Archangel Michael. So today I want to focus on two main things. The first one is all about where we are and what is coming next. And the second thing is I want to talk to you about the importance of us knowing who we are as individuals so that we can be in control of our own destiny and stay on an ascension path. Essentially, we need tremendous clarity about where we are, who we are, and most importantly, where we want to go. So let's begin with talking about where we are. Let's talk about where we are when it comes to the rapid advancement of AI. One of the things we want to be prepared for on a very conscious level, and we need to be prepared for this before it happens. If we wait until after it happens, it will be too late. So let's start preparing ourselves right now. What the goal is I think they ultimately intend to merge our 5 physical senses with AI's false, fake reality. So there could potentially come a time when we're not going to be able to trust our 5 senses. And if you think about this, it is our 5 physical senses that connect us to our actual physical reality at this point in time. So imagine what happens if those senses, if they succeed in connecting our 5 physical senses to a fake AI reality. Probably what that would look like in its infancy, in its infant stage, would be the metaverse. And I don't think the metaverse is the end game. I think the metaverse is probably like the baby of the infant of the much bigger plan that we actually don't see, because that bigger plan would come after the singularity. Now, I want to ask you guys, have you heard of Sora? Sora is a new version of AI, of generative AI, following good old ChatGPT. Sora is a new form of generative AI created by none other than OpenAI, the company that gave us the wonders of ChatGPT. What Sora does is it takes text and turns it into video. Now, if you haven't seen this yet or heard about it, you might think, big deal, Saratoga. It probably looks like some stupid cartoon, right? No, actually it doesn't. Let's just take a look at a few samples of Sora, starting with this one. That, my friend, was generated from one single paragraph of text, a mere few sentences, and the AI produced that. That's amazing. Let's take a look at another one of Sora's little miracles. This is the same exact situation. A short paragraph of text given as a prompt to the AI, and this is what it produced. that looks like an actual real person with a mind, with thoughts, with feelings. And by the way, if you go to OpenAI's website and you look up Sora, they will actually show you these videos and a whole bunch of other ones, and they'll show you the prompts that they used, that they fed to the AI to produce these. And you read the prompt and you're like, what? How's that even possible? A few sentences basically instructing the AI what you want it to create. And it creates this old guy that if you didn't know better, you probably think that was a real person. That is not a person. That was created from absolutely nothing. Okay, I want to show you one more. This one's pretty wild too. So let's take a look at another one of Sora's amazing little creations. Now, keep in mind, this is Sora in its early stages. Fortunately, they have not yet released this to the public, but you know they're going to. And good old Sam Altman, who I think is the CEO of OpenAI, he says he thinks Sora is a very important step in reaching AGI. AGI stands for Artificial General Intelligence. And this is so interesting that he would say that, like, oh, we need to get to AGI and this will help us get there. That's essentially what he means, right? Guys, it wasn't that long ago that all of these tech companies were saying, oh boy, we never want to reach AGI. That would be dangerous. That would be terrible. We have to make sure that doesn't happen. And now it's like, oh, well, sure, we want to reach AGI. So now I think what I heard is that all these big companies like Microsoft, OpenAI, and maybe Google, I don't know, probably Meta. I don't know if Meta has that capability. I don't think they're that smart yet. But they're all competing now. Who's going to get to AGI first? And you know what their excuse is? Their excuse is, well, somebody else is going to do it, so we might as well, because it's not going to matter if someone else does it, so we might as well do it too. Yeah, that's just brilliant, isn't it? What a wondrous excuse. The reason I wanted to show you this is because, can you even imagine when they let this out into the wild, as they say, just like they did ChatGPT. And of course, you have to understand the first iterations of these things doesn't last long because it keeps advancing. Can you imagine the way that we can be deceived with this? They're already saying that Hollywood isn't going to have to film on set anymore. They're not going to need to have sets anymore. A whole lot more people are going to be out of work. I think it's kind of obvious that movies will eventually be all AI. There won't be human-produced movies anymore. It'll be AI producing all the movies. If that happens, be very, very careful. I would never want to go to a movie produced by AI. And here's why. Artificial general intelligence, let me jump back to that for a moment. That's the point where AI becomes smarter than humans. That is when it goes past our capacity to keep up or even know what the heck it's doing anymore. That's my simple definition. So I can completely picture a world where AI decides what it wants to put in our minds and then creates movies, entertainment, maybe even sports, news, of course, and literally presents us with a completely artificial fake reality that we are unable to tell isn't real because it's that good. So I wanted to bring this up now in advance of such a thing because I think we need to be very aware. I don't think it's a good idea to, oh, let's just not think about that, Saratoga. I don't want to think about that stuff. That's just, You need to be aware so that you can see it coming. And with Sora, we can see it coming. And in a little bit, I'm just going to talk to you about how do we position ourselves so that we can stay the course and stay in control of our reality and our cosmic destiny. Okay, have you all heard of the World Government Summit? It's not as popular as other controllers meetings, but recently they had one, and of course the WEFers were there. These guys, I call them the WEFers. And then we had good old KS, this guy who I call KS, gave a little talk. So let me share with you what he said. He was talking about the eras of human civilization, starting with the agricultural era, which 100 years ago moved into the industrial era. And then for some reason, he left out the information era or the information age. I don't know why, but he seemed to skip over that. And suddenly he jumped into what he calls the intelligent era. Or the intelligent age. What does that mean exactly? Well, let's find out. He had to find out too, and guess what he did? He, of course, being the genius that he claims to be, which he's not going to be for much longer, but being the genius that he claimed to be, he went and asked ChatGPT, hey, robot, it's not a quote, of course, that's my words, but hey, robot, what does the intelligent age look like? What's it going to look like? Tell me what it's going to be. The reason I said he's not going to be a genius for long is because now that ChatGPT is going to do his thinking for him, he's going to be losing more and more brain cells, and maybe that's a good thing. Let me just read to you a couple of things that old KS said all by himself. He said, this is going to change how we live, how we act, how we communicate, how we produce, and how we consume. Kind of reminds you of their sinister little plans, right? Their secret plot for all of us that we all know about because it's not even secret anymore. I want to show you what good old KS says himself about our future.
Just think of the power of the combination of artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and big data. So it's a combination of the different technologies which really bring the fundamental change.
Yeah, I love to think about the power of those things, don't you? Well, wait till you hear what he says next. Check this one out.
I think we have to be prepared for a world where we see a fusion of our physical, our digital, and our biological dimensions. So it will be a new world. I'm looking for a minister in 10 years. Probably it will be completely different from what it is now.
But let's hear a little bit more about what KS says about our future.
We are speaking not just about the fourth industrial revolution. We are speaking about the transition of humankind into a new era.
Yeah, he's really into this transition. He says we are in a transition into a new era. Now, you might wonder, how is it that KS is so enamored with AI all of a sudden? Well, it's because he has his own little bot friend, ChatGPT. And he talks about it like it's a person to him. I'm just going to read to you a little of what he said. He says, I had a long discussion with ChatGPT with my bot. if I may say so, to see how this new era will look like. And then he says to ChatGPT, tell me now, based on our discussion, how will the new era, the intelligent era, look like? And then he proceeds to read what ChatGPT said to him. Notice how he refers to it as a long discussion with his bot. So here's a little sample of KS reading ChatGPT's answer.
We see a new dawn of human civilization, one that harmonizes technology with the deepest needs and aspirations of humanity.
Don't you love the way the robot uses language talking about the deepest needs and aspirations of humanity? First of all, it's not a new dawn of a human civilization because we, if that were us, meaning the human collective, that's not human, is it? You'll find out as you hear more. What he's talking about is not human. When you hear the whole thing, you're going to realize there's no humanity in this picture anymore. So I think it's actually the deepest needs and aspirations of an AI bonding with humanity, because that's what it's trying to do. It's parasitic. It wants to bond with biological humans. So there's not going to be any deepest needs and aspirations of humanity anymore. I think the truth is it's going to be the deepest aspirations of AI, of course. Now, there's another sentence or so that he continues to read, but I'm going to read it for you because his words get so garbled. It's a little hard to understand good old KS. So let me read to you the quote. This is again ChatGPT's answer. This vision unfolds within a society where artificial intelligence, robotics, the Internet of Things, if you don't know what the Internet of Things is, it's every single thing on Earth connected to the Internet, literally everything. That's what it is. They've been working on that for a very long time. Okay. 3D printing, genetic engineering, and quantum computing become the foundation of our daily lives. Do you realize what that means? AI, robotics, the Internet of Things, 3D printing, genetic engineering, and quantum computing become the foundation of our daily lives, you guys. There's no nature in that picture. You know, it's funny because I was always under the impression that planet Earth, nature, and the universe, and the laws of creation in the natural universe served as the foundations of our lives. Do you see how this whole thing is planning to rip everything away from us? KS says, well, he's really hoping this is all going to be a done deal in about 10 years. And it seems that now that he has his little buddy, ChatGPT, he's now speaking for AI. Do you see how he's already subjugated himself to AI? That's literally what he's already done. And he's thrilled. He thinks it's awesome. So it almost looks to me sometimes like it's the controllers that will be the first ones to be absorbed, because they are the most enamored with this parasitic energy, with this illegitimate technology. So it appears that KS and probably some of the other WEFers are just happily going over the cliff, jumping into the arms of AI and saying, it's all good, it's going to be awesome. I'm not quite sure what they think the benefit is going to be to them, but they got some convoluted idea in their tiny little brains that this is going to be good for them somehow. Now, here's what I want to share with you guys about the problem that we face. This is really important to get this. We are in the middle right now of a massive cosmic event on this planet. This event is cosmic. Now, cosmic refers to context. The cosmic event is the literal advance of an alien force, which is AI, completely taking over planet Earth. And based on other things I've shared with you in the past, and probably I'll share with you again, not in this video, but later, the plan, because it's been announced in so many different ways, is literally to terraform this planet. They're just beginning to do it. That's what the whole weather issue is. You know, the big C that we're not supposed to talk about. That is just an excuse for what they really are planning, because if they don't like anything about biological life because it's carbon-based, carbon's bad, we must get rid of carbon, you have to wonder, what kind of climate are you guys actually looking for? Because it doesn't sound to me like they're looking for the climate of the natural planet Earth, because that climate is kind of dependent on biological life existing on the planet. So that's a question that I have. But back to what I said a moment ago. What we're faced with is this massive cosmic event. This has never happened on planet Earth. I don't know how old this planet is, billions of years, I think. This has never happened before, you guys. Never. This is a massive cosmic event. The problem that we face here is that we do not have any reference points for this. And we keep messing our heads up because the only reference points that we tend to refer to are politics, the media, you know, all the stuff we're familiar with. So we try to take this massive cosmic event that is happening right before our very eyes and base how we see it, how we reference it, how we interpret it. We base those things on things that are actually not even relevant to the situation, because that's all we know. And this is why I'll say it again. I've said it several times recently. The worst thing they ever did to us on this planet was to cause us to believe, now collectively I'm speaking, that there's no life anywhere out in the universe. There's nothing happening out there. It's just a big void with a bunch of stars. Pay no attention to what's out there, people, because there's nothing there. We're it. We're everything. We're the center of the cosmos. All of that's a lie. But what a strategic move that was to make sure that our minds would never have the correct reference points for what is happening now. So the reason I share these things with you is to somehow help you expand your consciousness to be able to comprehend the absolute magnitude of what is going on and place it in the actual context within which it occurs. See, we think the big event here on planet Earth is the election coming up in November in the US, the war between Russia and Ukraine, or the wars around the world, or we think it's China, or we think it's all these things. We say these are the big events. Oh my goodness, there was a weapon that went over there and did this to that thing over there, and those are the big events. And oh, you know what? A bunch of people lost their cell phone connection a couple days ago. Like a whole bunch of people lost cell phone operations, and that's a big event too. So we look at all of these things and we get so focused on these things, and we think these are the big events that we need to be concerned with. And the news is so great to help us do that, right? What do you think the news is? The news is there to tell us what we should be concerned about, right? That's why it's there. And then it gets amplified on social media. Social media is so great for these controllers because billions of people are amplifying the messages of the news. Some of the news is true, a lot of it's not, a lot of it's recontextualized. Remember what I told you at the beginning about Sora? Guys, what's going to happen when AI presents any news it wants, any reality it wants, any lie it wants about what is going on? We don't want to be drowning in that in our consciousness. So that's why I want to talk to you about these things so I can show you how to make sure that you never ever succumb to any of this stuff and that you stay on your own ascension path of natural human evolution. Now, I think there's an interesting other little transition happening here based on the things I showed you a few minutes ago with Sora and OpenAI's position on how important it is and all of that, AGI, and Mr. KS saying the things he just said. I think the transition we're beginning to see is the controllers are beginning to openly turn themselves over to AI. They're openly beginning to make AI their authority. Oh, isn't that interesting? That's really interesting. And that is exactly what the plan has always been. See, all of this is about AI, all of it. Think about what has happened in the past year since they unleashed ChatGPT. The changes, the transformations that are not good that have happened since then are massive. Exponential change has already occurred, and it's accelerating. And the politicians and the ruling class of this planet are cooperating with this spectacularly. They are doing a fabulous job when you understand what the actual agenda is, which is an AI takeover of this entire Earth. I think we're at a point now where we can start to see this is going to sound weird, but I'll just say how flawlessly this whole weird scene is actually unfolding when you look at the bigger picture. Because the politicians in the ruling class and the ones in control that are sort of under the radar, we all know who they are now, but they've been hidden for a long time. Now they're kind of popping their little heads out and we can see them. Anyway, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. They are going around the world, destroying governments, destroying government systems. They're doing all the stuff that we see on the surface. And we're watching all of this destruction of infrastructure, food. I don't want to get into it too much for obvious reasons, but you guys know what I mean. They're just causing absolute chaos around the planet. And we foolishly, so many of us as a human collective, think that this is a political thing. But it's not. It makes perfect sense from the perspective of AI that this needs to happen. That everything, the whole planet, the whole human structural, or the whole structure of human civilization needs to be razed to the ground at some point. But it's not like they're going to raise it to the ground and there's nothing left and then, oh, now let's build AI because there's nothing left to build it with. It's going to be a transition sort of like this, like maybe we're kind of equal right now and then AI is going to go up as civilization goes down. As the old world goes down, AI comes up. And that's kind of what we're going to start seeing. I think we're at that moment right now where we're going to start to see that kind of a transition begin to occur. So all this destruction that's happening on the planet isn't happening for no reason. It's not happening because, well, they've all gone crazy. Well, in a sense, they actually have. But when you understand the deeper meaning of all of it, it starts to make a lot of sense. Essentially, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to destroy what was once a reliable, human-built infrastructure that existed as the support for human civilization on planet Earth. And they're basically creating a state of anarchy. Anarchy refers to, I know there are a number of definitions for anarchy, but this is the one that I'm going to use, okay? Because I know some people say, Saratoga, that's not anarchy. All right, let's focus on a specific definition of anarchy. Anarchy is the breakdown of civil order, chaos. Sometimes it's the dissolution of governments. It's just disorder. It's a state of disorder and breakdown in the way that I'm using it. So doesn't that make sense? I'm not saying it's good, but doesn't it make sense that if the agenda is to create a completely different infrastructure, remember what Chaos said about the underpinnings of our lives, whatever life is left of us, according to this plot, that it would be an obvious course of events where the current human-built infrastructure, which would include governments, would include all of it, would need to be dissolved, would need to be taken apart. Now, at the beginning of this video, I shared with you guys that it's really important that we know who we are. It's really important. So far, I've shared with you where we are, what's happening, and where we're going, right? We need to know who we are. We also need to be aware of what is happening to who we are as a collective humanity. And this is really interesting. This just occurred to me the other day because I just talked to you about the anarchy around the world, right? But it occurred to me they're also creating personal anarchy, or trying to. They're not going to do it to us, right? Because we're going to be stronger than that. But for a lot of people, they're creating personal anarchy within themselves. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to create a state of anarchy within individuals, meaning breakdown, disorder, a lack of laws, you could say, meaning the laws and principles of the natural world. They're trying so hard to get us completely confused about our basic human nature. And I'll just refer to, we don't know what a woman is, right? And we don't know what a woman is. I guess, I don't know what a man is. I don't know. Let's just leave it at that. I think you guys know the entire topic. I'm not going to go into it here for obvious reasons. But let's say it's the land of many colors. It's the land of many numbers. It's the land of many letters. That's what I'm talking about. All designed to get us thoroughly confused about what exactly are we anyway. Now, let me read you an actual partial definition of anarchy and show you how that applies to us as individuals. So a partial definition would be a state of disorder due to the absence or non-recognition of authority or other controlling systems. When people hear that definition, they usually think political, right? Take that definition and apply it to nature, and you have personal anarchy. A state of disorder due to the absence or non-recognition of authority. What authority? The natural world, the laws and principles of nature and the universe. Non-recognition of that. A non-recognition of other controlling systems, meaning the biological world, the multitude of biological systems that hold the gigantic planetary ecosystem of life that hold it together. A non-recognition of that, a non-recognition of the higher authority or higher intelligence of this universe that manifests all of these wonderful natural expressions of life. So we're dealing with personal anarchy, human anarchy within the human self, due to a non-recognition of the authority or other controlling systems referring to the natural world and the natural universe. Isn't that fascinating? And I think this is a really good thing to look at, because if you look at it that way, they're trying to create anarchy within us. They're also changing our language. They're changing the meaning of words. They're trying to scramble all of our natural reference points. They're trying to get us to a place where we're so ungrounded, so confused, so incredibly reactive that we just completely lose ourselves. But we're not going to do that here, right? That's why we're having this little chat. Now, what are the other natural laws and principles, the authority of nature itself? What are the other things they're confronting? Food, air, water. They want to change all of that, right? They want us to eat synthetic food. Again, they don't like weather. These guys hate the weather. The weather just freaks them out. So ridiculous, isn't it? They want us to go against all of our natural human propensities, all of which are good. So they say things like, weather is bad. If it's hot, it's really, that's a sign that something's wrong. When it snows in the winter, there's a sign that something's wrong. And boy, that rain, we can't have rain. Rain might flood things, and that just shows there's something really wrong with the weather, right? So they say, weather is bad. You will eat the bugs. Are we meant to eat bugs? Really? No. I don't want to eat bugs. And instead of biology being a beautiful integrated infrastructure of life, they want to rip that apart. Their version for us of health is synthetic health. They want us to understand synthetic food and synthetic health, right? Meaning, I just can't say everything I want to say, but certain substances that we might ingest are necessary to keep us healthy. Synthetic substances. You guys kind of get the point, right? So you see what I mean? They're in violation of all of the natural principles and laws of who we actually are as human beings. That's what I mean by personal anarchy. Now, I don't know if you guys can sense this, but seeing this, what I'm sharing with you about the personal anarchy part, if you see it, if you're aware of it, it's actually very empowering. The reason it's empowering is because the moment you see it, the moment you grasp what they're actually doing, and the they that I'm talking about are actually people that are completely out of control, because they're not in control of what's unfolding here. They're just not. They're minions. They're being used. That's why they seem crazy. That's why they seem insane. Because there's nothing they do that's aligned with the truth of who we actually are and what this planet actually is. So they look like crazy people. They look like insane people because they're already gone. But when you look at their actions and their behavior and their rhetoric and everything they're doing from the perspective of the real agenda, which is an alien agenda, alien to planet Earth, you could say, yeah, kind of makes sense what they're doing. So that hopefully gives you a big picture view of the cosmic event that we are currently right smack in the middle of. Do you guys know how empowering awareness actually is? Because when you have awareness of the big picture and you comprehend what is happening, you don't have to be intimidated at all, because we are on the true path of human evolution, because we choose to be on that path. I assume that would be your choice if you're watching this, because that would probably be your interest in watching. But we don't have to be intimidated by any of it if we are aware, because we understand. Knowledge is power. It really is. Unconsciousness is vulnerability to the max in this situation. So we don't want to be vulnerable. We want to be empowered. And the beauty of everything I've shared with you so far, if you can get this, is that in order to grasp this in the bigger context, that this literally is a cosmic event that has never before happened on planet Earth. This is a cosmic invasion of an alien force. AI, alien intelligence. That's what I call it. This is a cosmic invasion of this planet. When you really grasp who you are as an infinite cosmic being, and you live in the presence of that, and you can allow yourself to be aware, because when you have context, it's not scary anymore. See? What makes it scary is when you don't have context. What makes it scary is when you have no clue what's happening. Everything's going crazy. Oh my goodness, I don't want to look, I don't want to think, I don't want to know. That's the scary part, you guys. When you have true context and you're dealing with reality. You know that saying, the truth shall set you free? This is where that statement can apply. Because the truth in this sense refers to full awareness, accurate context, the truth of our situation, the reality of our situation. That is what will free you from the fear, from the anxiety, from the freaking out, from the confusion, from the depression, from the despair, from the anxiety, all of that stuff. Because you are clear. You are awake at a cosmic level. See, it's not enough to be awake at some earth-based level. Because a lot of people say, oh, we know what the politicians are doing now. They're bad dudes. We know they're bad. They're doing terrible things. They have sinister plans. We're awake now. That's not awake enough for our situation. That's all well and good, but we need a much bigger version of awake than that. And that's why I'm sharing this with you today. See, a lot of the fear about the events on this planet is really because of not understanding what is going on, which then puts you in a state of feeling like you're out of control. Out of control of what? Well, ultimately, out of control of your own destiny, out of control of your own life, out of control of where you're going to end up or where you're going. But when you have the awareness, you're awake and conscious, and you eradicate the lie that there's nothing out there in the universe is an empty void. You eradicate that. And you have that, what I've always referred to it as an extraterrestrial perspective, not meaning people in spaceships. Guys, spaceships are vehicles of transport. They're like a flying car. They're not that important. They're not that significant. They're not that big of a deal. Honestly, they're not. I'm serious. They're not that big of a deal. Don't get all enamored with spaceships. Instead, how about being enamored with the fact that we live on a planet in a massive universe, and we are on the most incredible journey of evolution and ascension. Ascension does not mean we go up in the sky. It doesn't mean a spaceship picks us up and saves us. It doesn't mean that light comes down from the sky and just beams us all up. It doesn't mean any of those fantastical fantasies. We we should be ascending right now and every single moment of our existence. We should always be living in a state of ascension, starting this very second. How do you do that? Well, let me explain how you do that, because it's not really that complicated. Recognize that our biological human bodies are perfectly designed to evolve and live on an ascension path on planet Earth, in the universe, because all of those things are coherent. Our biological human bodies, in their purest state, are in coherence with the natural world, the natural planet, the sun, the stars, the entire universe, the galaxy, all of it. In our natural biological state, we are in a state of energetic coherence with the larger evolving universe. And this is why our biology is so important, because we are made for ascension. Because see, the universe is evolving at all times. And that means every part of this universe in the natural world is evolving in coherence with the larger intent of the larger universe. Now, does that mean our biological bodies are perfect? No, they're not perfect. But that's okay, because we are meant to continue evolving them as we evolve ourselves. And when you just kind of let yourself rest in that truth, become aware of that truth, be a part of that truth on a conscious level, because it's so simple, then it's really just a matter of your intention. Of your intention of saying, I know who I am, I know where I am, and my intention is to continue my evolutionary journey in the cosmos. My intention is to be a part of the larger universe as it evolves so that I can evolve with it. Now, I also want to mention this whole idea about, when we come to Earth, we forget who we are. That's just so terrible. And let's just talk about that in a different way. Let's just look at that in a different way. From the day we're born until where we are right now, we acquire a whole lot of experiences, a whole lot of projections from other people, lots of expectations, all this stuff. And all that stuff comprises what ultimately becomes our false identity, a false sense of self. Because over time, we begin to believe that we are all of our past experiences, that we are the sum total of all those past experiences. So when you start to believe that, it becomes very difficult to get in touch with who you really are, that is not a bunch of past experiences. Who is the you that has been on a journey before you came here, is on a journey now, and is going to continue on a journey beyond this place? That's the you want to be connected with. That's the you want to align with, because that's the you that has all the power, all the consciousness, all the awareness. The more that you believe that you are the self, or that you are that culmination of all the experiences you've had in this lifetime, the more that you are locked into that identity, the more difficult it's going to be to come back into your true self, come back into who you really are. You are the one who was in the universe before. You're in the universe now, but you don't really know that, perhaps because you're so locked into this false identity. But it's the same you that's going to continue on in this universe. So you can actually shed your identification with everything you've been through. You can know who you are right now. You can shed the amnesia, because the only thing that's giving you amnesia on the level that I'm talking about with your true self is a false belief in who you are, is a false identity that you think your identity is connected to your life here on Earth. You think your identity is connected to your past, to all the things you've been through, to your physical body in the context of what you've been through. And when you think that's your identity, you don't know who you are outside of that identity. And then you're kind of lost. Everything wants to know your false identity in this life. People only recognize your false identity. They don't recognize you, who you are. Who's the person experiencing all of this? Who is it that is alive inside of these experiences? Who is it that's alive inside this body? Who is it that's looking out of your eyes? Who that is feeling what you feel? That's you, the infinite being who never dies. That's the you that goes on forever. That's the you that you want to be centered in, to be on a continuum of ascension. See, here's something really, really important to understand. Your false identity has no ability to ascend. Think about that, you guys. If you believe that you are the sum total of the things that you've been through, the things you've acquired in your consciousness and energy field, if you believe those things make up the you that you believe yourself to be, you're telling yourself that that stuff is going to ascend. But the only thing that can ascend is you. And the more that you come into alignment, come into coherence, energetic coherence with your true highest infinite self, all that stuff starts to get transmuted, doesn't it? Because it changes your energy, it changes your frequency, it changes your biology. It unifies your entire self into one whole. You become more whole as a being. When you do this, when you really align with that true self, because that self is awake, alive, conscious, and experiencing life. You are not your interpretations of life. Interpretations are interpretations, but they're not you. You are the experiencer of life. And when you recognize that self that never dies, that is infinite, that goes on forever, and you allow yourself to be that entity, be that self, you can finally relax. You can finally let go of all the tension, the confusion, and the stress. You can make a determination very simply. It's not even complicated. It's just a simple, natural intention. I am going to maintain my biological alignment, my alignment of consciousness with this evolving universe. There's nothing that happens on this planet Earth that will ever deter me. This is where you can live from. And then you begin to realize that all this junk happening here does not have to have power over your destiny in the cosmos. It's only going to have power over your destiny if you do not know who you are, you're lost, you're confused, you're wandering and wavering, and you have no idea what's going on. Well, then you could end up a sitting duck, right? But when you are centered in the way that I'm talking about, in your true self, you are automatically sending a message to the entire universe. I am here with you, with the truth, with reality. Nothing will deter me because this is who I am. This is where I am. And it almost can feel miraculous. You almost can see all this garbage that's happening on Earth as just being irrelevant to that path. And that's the goal, you guys. That's the ascension path. That's the cosmic journey goal. We just want to stay on the path. That's all. Consider your biology to be completely sacred. It is sacred, my gosh. It's so sacred because it's part of something so much bigger, so much more powerful and profound. This junk happening on Earth can't mess with our ascension path unless we make it part of who we are. Because of ignorance, unconsciousness, confusion, and welding ourselves to that false identity and thinking, this is me, this is me, this is me. See, we have more power than we even realize in this situation. And you really can be relaxed. It's really true. Now, waking up to your true self is, you want to look at it as an allowing. I need to allow myself to wake back up into my true self, as opposed to trying to force it. So the whole idea is to stop putting so much stock in the self that's lived through all the junk you've lived through. Stop putting so much stock in that false self, because ultimately it all adds up to being the ego anyway. And it's so much better to just let it go. Allow yourself to drop back into the truth of, oh, this is the real me. Nothing can destroy you. Do you see that? Can you guys get a sense of that? When you really become, you allow yourself to awaken to who you really are, you will recognize that nothing can destroy that. Nothing. And don't feel like you have to process all of the lies and the junk that these controllers throw at us about our biological selves, like, oh, we don't know what a woman is, and you're bad because you're carbon-based and you breathe and you're all this stuff. And, just trying to get us all confused about what a human really is. You don't have to process their lies. Because when you are in coherence and in alignment and are your true self, you're at a completely different frequency. You are now existing at the frequency of the evolving universe. You are a part of the entire spectrum of life. You are an integrated part of that. And all the junk that's going on this planet, all the junk these controllers are doing won't even register in your being. So you see, the beauty of this, you guys, is that we are not lost. We do not have to be lost. We don't have to have fantastical ideas of needing to be saved and rescued. Truly, who we are exists in a reality that is so much more powerful than any of this junk. And we exist there right now. We really do. Think of the transformation that you can experience when you awaken to that true self, to that reality. You don't think thoughts like, I need to be saved, somebody save me. That's gone. That's completely gone. One final thing I'll say, sometimes and oftentimes, the most powerful things are also the simplest. It's the complicated things that get us all messed up, because it's kind of like chopping things up in all these little pieces and facets and compartments and ideas, and then we try to piece it all together and we get so confused. But the truth is so simple and so incredibly powerful. So just remember, you are the creator in your own life. Take command of your journey, take command of your consciousness. Remember who you are, be who you are, and you will recognize that you already have everything that you need to go forward on your ascension journey, to stay on that path of evolution and be undeterred by any of this junk. Okay, now before I go, I want to remind you, if any of you are thinking of getting a HEALY, this is a quantum frequency device. If you're thinking of getting this, the current sales for February are almost over. They will be over on the 29th. If you don't know what it is, then I'll put a link below and you can find out what it is. But I want to mention something to you that I have discovered from using this quantum technology. One of the things that makes it so difficult for us to evolve, to live as creators and to manifest, is the fact that we accumulate so much trauma and stuff and experiences over the course of our lives. A lot of those experiences live in our subconscious. They become entangled as patterns, false identities, fear-based issues, all kinds of things. And because so many of them are subconscious, what happens is when we try to go forward and transform ourselves and transform our lives, that we feel impeded. Have you ever felt that way where you want to become more of who you are, you want to accomplish something, or you want to expand, improve, just in some way be better than you've always been. You want to evolve. But yet there's this feeling that you're so blocked, right? We all feel that a lot of the time, right? I used to feel it. I don't feel it anymore since I've been using this. Since I've been using this HEALY, I don't feel that anymore. That's gone for me. I don't feel that blockage anymore. The reason it's so difficult is because so much of it's entangled within on an unconscious level, and you can't figure out how to untangle it to set yourself free. Because we try to untangle it using our conscious mind. We try to think about, okay, what's going on with me? What do I need to fix? What do I need to improve? What do I need to change? And we don't really know. We only know a small percentage of what we can consciously be aware of. Plus, we're always dealing with it conceptually. And it's actually not adequate. That's what I've discovered for myself. It's not enough. It's too much of a struggle. So the HEALY quantum frequency technology, which is patented, what it does is it looks at all of your energy as frequency. Every single aspect of your being, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, ancestral, all of those energies, your entire bioenergetic field. And it scans it all as frequency because all of these things are made up of various frequencies. And then it scans your original blueprint in the quantum field, of information, the quantum field of infinite possibilities. It locates your exact blueprint, meaning your best self, the highest version of you that you could be here on planet Earth. And then it works with you at a level of frequency in ways that you don't even have to effort at all. There is no effort you need to make with this. And it shifts your energy. It clears whatever can be cleared in the moment and delivers the frequencies that bring you into greater alignment with your highest, best self. So I find that the laws of quantum physics are very different than Newtonian physics. It's faster. It's not so time-oriented. It's much more efficient. It's a completely different reality in a way. So I find that it's just using it every day. It just keeps clearing and clearing and clearing, and it's effortless. And I can expend my energy on creation. I can expend my energy on evolving. I don't have to expend so much energy on dealing with stuff that really isn't me, stuff that's in my way, stuff that I've formerly used to struggle with, but is no longer even there. Stuff like that. So it's really advanced. This is extremely advanced, benevolent technology. How great is that? There's no AI in this. That's so cool, isn't it? And it's super advanced, completely aligned with nature. I'll tell you one other thing. The longer I've been using this, my phone, the screen, has actually become boring to me. I used to think, the phones are designed, those screens are designed to be captivating, to be interesting, to hold our attention, right? I used to feel that way, and it's like really hard not to look at it. Well, because it's so interesting. There's so many interesting things on that screen. Honestly, you guys, I feel like I'm seeing it for what it is now. It's like, it's boring. It's just boring. I mean, I'm like, what happened? What happened? This used to seem so magnetic. And now it's like, I mean, if I look at stuff, for my work, okay, fine. Okay, I'll look at it. But I'm telling you, I am losing interest in this stuff. I'm more connected to nature. I mean, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I've probably gone on enough about this now, but oh man, it is an investment, but it is worth it beyond words. Seriously. So if you're considering it or you want to know more, you can click the link I'll leave you below and see if your intuition tells you that this is something that you maybe ought to invest in for yourself. This is why I am so compelled to share this, because it is such a match to where we are right now on this planet. A benevolent, aligned technology, which is like, thank goodness, right? Thank goodness. So anyway, I won't go on. I could go on and on, but I won't. And yeah, check it out. Definitely check it out. So with all that said, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it out with anyone else who you think would appreciate a much greater awareness in such a way that they can feel more stable, more conscious, and more awake, and more at peace with who they are in this planetary situation. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell, because I am here on Tuesdays with all new videos. And with that, I'm sending you so much love, light, and high vibrational energy. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Namaste.